So, last month, it's been revealed that Quake of the Week is coming to an end this year. And after my critiques of this show and the fact that it just made me underwhelmed, it came to the conclusion that I was a little bit harsh towards the show, knowing full well that this was one of the final Cartoon Network shows when it comes to originality, while the West is basically based off of all your shows, which you can probably tell what I'm referring to. You see, the thing is, I was originally going to be reviewing Winter Quake Olympics last year, but since I was burned out, I scrapped it until I revived it for the sake of today's video, especially since that 2023 is still new, and realizing that Quake of the Week is coming to an end with its spin-off and its origin film coming out this year. This really feels like the year of Quake of the Week, which ends up being the final year, well, aside from the spin-off. In all honesty, I actually wanted to review this episode because during my binge watch, I actually enjoyed it for what they're doing involving the Quake and turning it into a Winter Olympics environment. But considering that over time, I just couldn't be able to get into the show as much as anyone who enjoys this as a whole. But since that we received the news that this show is officially ending this year, it really feels appropriate for me to review this, since that we're in the winter season and the fact that this episode is becoming 2 years old by the following month. The majority of this episode centers around Quake and his friends trying to win at least one Olympic in order to win a cardboard gold medal. And it's mainly about the friendship that they desperately need to work together, especially when it comes to the final Olympics that they need to do in order to win a gold medal themselves. In all honesty, this episode is mainly what you've seen involving a real-life Olympics, whether it's from Japan, taking place during the winter, or anything else entirely. I've seen only a few episodes from cartoons that does this inspiration involving the Olympics, and for me personally, this really feels like the best out of all of them, mainly the fact that it's simple. Like, it doesn't need to be taken seriously, it just needs to be simple enough for entertainment. And if shows like Codename Kids Next Door did an episode involving the Olympics or anything else entirely, I'm pretty sure that they will probably take the plot seriously. But since that this episode is mostly a filler episode, it really feels a good entertaining episode that is worth sitting through at least once. When anyone does the Olympics in this episode, they're not fantasizing anything or just using their imagination to make the things work. I know that's basically the highlight of the show, but for me personally, it just drags me out a bit. And the fact that this episode has none of those things just goes to show that they're willing to make this Winter Quake Olympics legitimately entertaining. Which is why I felt like the episodes like this is probably one of the reasons why people wanted this show to go on, so that they can have more episodes like this. And even if I do not remember all the characters, it just goes to show that they're giving it all when it comes to what they do at the Quake and what they do most when it comes to their attributes. It made me appreciate what the characters can do, that they cooperate with the Olympics to the Quake in order to combine them together to become the Winter Quake Olympics. Here's the thing, I appreciate the characters being used in this, especially the main characters. The reason why I'm not into them is most likely the fact that I've seen other character personalities involving scientists or other character personalities done much more better in other cartoons, to the point that it's somewhat forgettable in this show, at least for my taste. I'm just being real with you, it's difficult to be invested with nearly all the characters in the show, knowing full well they're gonna be the characters we're gonna be missing once this show comes to an end this year. And as much as I understand that people really enjoy these characters, keep in mind during my binge watch, it was difficult to keep track on everything else compared to Steven Universe and We Bare Bears. It's just impossible to look at the positives in the show if I'm not really invested with every single character. And the fact that the 4th season really tried everything to give the side characters episodes of their own since the aftermath of Season 3, it really shows that there were a lot of cuts when it comes to Season 5 premiering this year. And to be real with you, it really sums up with the fact that they are literally trying everything to give every single character an episode of their own, and it's not a bad idea, but at the same time, knowing forward that that's pretty much one of the reasons onto why people are against the idea of Season 5 being cut in half when it comes to episodes, I really feel bad for those people, even if I do not feel a lot of sympathetic feelings towards the characters in the show. Because if you really enjoy these characters, that's fine, more power to you. But the thing is, it's honestly difficult for me to be invested with nearly all the characters. But I can totally understand what you're feeling once this show comes to an end this year. As for the ending of this episode, it made me appreciate this episode a lot more, knowing full well that Craig and his friends are only doing this for fun. And as much as they're going a little overboard, I have to understand that these characters are children at the end of the day. I mean, I understand that the attributes that it has is supposed to be different compared to the other cartoons, but for me personally, I just couldn't get into them. But I'm not that harsh towards those attributes, mainly them imagining themselves to make the adventure a lot more better in the creek. If I'm gonna be perfectly honest, if this show did continue to the point that we're going to have another Winter Olympics or a different Olympic episode involving the creek, I'm pretty sure it will probably have the same methods from this episode. Granted, it will probably be a sequel of taking elements from the original, but on the other hand, this is mainly a cartoon show that isn't supposed to be taken seriously at times, and this episode is one of them. But still, with the information being revealed last month, it is a shame that this show is ending this year, and when it comes to my fanfic involving Steven Universe and Craig of the Creek, keep in mind, I'm still gonna keep writing that story even after the show comes to an end. I may not talk about the spin-off once it comes out, but when it comes to the origin movie, there's a slight chance I might talk about it when it comes out this year. Because for me personally, I might discuss my perspective on the show itself a lot more than what I did in this episode, to the point that it may give you an understanding onto why I may not enjoy this show as much as other people do. The only thing I'm expecting from the origin film is that I hope it at least surprises me, knowing full well that it's not a sequel from the series, it's a prequel to the series, which is honestly something that no other show has done before, so I'm somewhat looking forward to what they're going to be doing in the origin film, but only time will tell. I'm giving this episode a 7.25 out of 10.